Hello and welcome to my very first What If video. On this episode, we're gonna talk about what if Dead by Daylight survivors had weapons. This video is for all the killers out there that already fear survivors bearing flashlights. This will be based on their lore, perks, and personalities. Remember, this is only my opinion. Killers, beware. So, let's start from the obvious ones. And by obvious, I mean the licensed survivors that already had a weapon before getting snatched by the entity. First, we have Leon, Tap, Nancy, and Nada. They, of course, would use their pistols. Steve would use his baseball bat, Ash his chainsaw, and Jill would use mines, like her perk, blast mines, but unlike her perk, these mines would be lethal. Now that these are out of the way, let's go back to the start, to Dwight. As a person that fears his own shadow, he wouldn't have the balls to pick up a weapon, any kind of weapon, even if his life was in danger. But for the sake of this video, I'm giving him a slingshot. Now I know what you're gonna say.
The slingshot would be more fitting to Adam as his perk allows him to throw pebbles.
Well, there wasn't anything else coming to mind. I had to give him something. Up next, we have Meg. As a Meg main, I'm really proud of this. As we all know, she's a runner, and not in the get away from danger type of runner. She has 2 speed perks and one that allows her to be very quiet while doing noticeable things. I would give her a blade that she would use to assassinate killers from behind without anyone noticing. I think Claudette would put her knowledge of plants and herbs into use and create some kind of poison, placing it on darts, so she would be stealthy as well. From Jake's lore, we can see that he can survive on his own, out in the wilderness by building fires, making traps, making him an important asset to the team. He would probably build bigger traps to catch even the strongest killers. Maybe even tinker with the trapper's own traps. The only thing we know Nia can do is use spray paint to make art and ride a skateboard. So I'm gonna go out on a limb here and say that she will stumble upon a lighter and use it with a spray paint bottle as a flamethrower. For Laurie, it's easy. Decisive Shrike. Next. Now to my boy Ace. He always carries an alligator tooth with him for good luck. Sharpen it a little, stick a handle on it, and BAM! You've got yourself a weapon. Maybe not the best, but it's something. Bill's weapon is another easy one. In Left 4 Dead's loading screens, he always had an assault rifle. Fang. You danger chaser you. As a challenge accepted kind of person, she would want something that needs skill and strength. I'm gonna say that the bow and arrow is the best choice for her. David loved to fight with his bare hands, so if he really had to have a weapon, I would go with brass knuckles. We know that Quentin tried to put Freddy on fire. Automatically, that gets him Molotovs. We could go with a flamethrower as well, but being a heavy weapon, I don't think he could lift it. Now, Kate is one of the best people in Dead by Daylight. She's just pure good, so she wouldn't normally try to harm someone, but if her friends were in danger, she would do whatever she could to help them. That means even smashing her own guitar on a killer's head. Adam is another good person who would never harm someone, even if his life depended on it. But he would want to help others, just not with lethal ways. I think a taser suits him best. Jeff is another person that wouldn't kill. Not that he doesn't have the guts to defend himself. He would use the bottles of beer he had in front of him before the entity took him. Hey, in a dire situation, everything is a weapon. I think Jane has a lot of courage, so going close and personal wouldn't mean a thing to her. But because of her physical condition, she wouldn't use anything heavy. I'm gonna say a machete is a perfect match. Yui would use her bike, not the whole thing, just a piece of it. The exhaust pipe is a safe bet. Up next we have Zarina. Before the entity took her, she was holding an old rusty wrench. Sorry Zarina. Cheryl would go for the kill if she had the opportunity, but lacking the physical condition, she would use something small, like a dagger. I don't think Felix would go up close to a killer, so he would need a ranged weapon, but not something loud, so the shot would not be traced back to him. The crossbow would be the best option for him, and it's a good design, him being an architect and all. Whoa, we have a badass. Physical condition? Check. Beef with the entity? Check. Guts? A lot. She would go out swinging. Elodie, my friend, you get the axe. Nothing can stop young Jin from going back to her career. If that means taking down some masked psychos, then so be it. She would use the quickest, most lethal way. Shotgun. What did you think I was gonna say? She needs to be able to lift it. Jonah would use what he almost died from. Bombs. because what doesn't kill you gets you into the realm. Now Michaela would use her abilities, an enhanced version of them. Maybe she would try to control plants, trying to capture some killers, something like that. Yoichi, as a marine biologist, would have a harpoon gun. I know it doesn't have anything to do with killing fish, but it's the closest thing I could come up with. Hattie, as an explorer of the unknown, never carried a weapon with her, so she would use whatever she could find in the trial. There aren't a lot of things you could use, so it would depend on the map and the killer. As a medic, Rebecca, after healing a fellow survivor with a medkit, would probably use the tools to stab some killers in the eye. Legion, watch out. Vittorio would never harm anyone, but has a way of avoiding and blocking hits. He would use a shield, technically not a weapon, but at least he can protect himself. Okay, for this one, I went a little creative. She loves kites, right? Well, maybe that can turn out to be some kind of a weapon. Bear with me. She could stick Jonas bombs on her kites, take them far away to where the killers are, and drop them. I know it's not a solo weapon, but what can you do? The only thing she had was kites. And the last one is Renato. Being a smart young man as he is, I don't know why I said it like that. I think he would try to steal the blight serum and make some kind of chemical weapon. Well, that's it. I don't know about you, but I think if the survivors had all these weapons, the killers wouldn't stand a chance. Except for the wrench. That is bullshit. Thank you all for watching. See you on the next video.